Hey everyone! If you love intimate, slow-burn stories like this one, take a second to subscribe to the channel. You're always welcome here. At 2:08 a.m., I heard her car pull in. The sound carried through the narrow street in Freiburg, tires crunching softly over wet cobblestone, an engine idling before surrendering to the night. From the bedroom window, I could see the reflection of the street lamp shimmer across the windshield. Snowmelt dripped from the eaves, tapping the silence with patient insistence. At 2:09 a.m., I turned off my wedding ring's location. The motion was small, almost tender. Thumb, screen, confirmation. A quiet betrayal layered on top of another. The ring felt heavier after that, as if it finally remembered what it was made for. I didn't move when Anna opened the front door. I stayed still, listening to the familiar rhythm of her keys, her coat brushing the wall, her shoes placed carefully by the radiator. She was trying not to wake me. That alone told me everything. Freiburg slept lightly. It always had. A city of bicycles and church bells, of environmental slogans painted on cafe windows and old ghosts buried under new tram lines. I had chosen it because it felt honest. Because after where I came from, I needed somewhere that didn't pretend to be innocent. Anna slipped into the bedroom minutes later, carrying the cold with her. She smelled of winter air and something floral that didn't belong to her. "You're awake," she whispered. "Jet lag," I said, though we both knew I hadn't traveled in months. She nodded, too quickly. Her eyes avoided mine. That used to hurt. Tonight, it felt like confirmation. As she slept beside me, breathing carefully, my mind drifted backward, to another house, another night, another woman trying not to wake anyone. I grew up near Leipzig, in a village that still bore the scars of division long after the wall fell. My grandfather had been a respected factory manager under the old system, praised publicly, feared privately. After reunification, he became something else entirely. A consultant, a fixer, a man who knew how to make problems disappear. My father learned from, I learned from watching. We were a family that understood leverage, silence, timing. My mother did not. She believed reunification meant truth would finally matter. She kept journals, names, dates. She talked about accountability the way other people talked about spring. One night, when I was 12, she packed a bag and told me we were going to my aunt's in Munich. We never made it. Her death was ruled an accident. Icy road, late hour, unfortunate angle. My father stood beside the wreckage the next morning, face unreadable, hand steady on my shoulder. "Some things," he said, "are too heavy to carry into the future." From that moment on, the future became something I prepared for. I left as soon as I could, studied engineering in Karlsruhe, built a life defined by transparency and precision. When Anna entered it, bright-eyed and idealistic, working for a sustainable housing nonprofit, I thought I had finally outrun my inheritance. She loved that I cooked, that I remembered small details, that I never raised my voice. She said I made her feel safe. When my father died 3 years ago, Anna held my hand at the funeral. She didn't know what I inherited that day, not the money, not the properties quietly signed over, but the unfinished business, the knowledge of what had really happened to my mother, hidden in files I'd spent years recovering. Anna changed after that. Subtly. New clients, late meetings, a name that came up more often than coincidence allowed, Marcus Vogel. Marcus had been my father's protege, younger, cleaner, publicly committed to reforming the very systems my family had exploited. He spoke at conferences about ethical redevelopment, about healing post-industrial wounds. He also knew exactly where the bodies were buried. At 2:08 a.m., Anna had come from his apartment. I didn't confront her the next day, or the next. Revenge, I had learned, was wasted when rushed. Instead, I watched. I listened. I let Marcus underestimate me the way men like him always did, assuming restraint meant weakness, that love made people blind. I invited him to dinner. He arrived with wine from the Kaiserstuhl and a smile polished to perfection. Anna was radiant that evening, nervous energy fluttering around her like static. "You've built something impressive," Marcus told me, glancing around our apartment. "Not many people escape their origins." "I didn't escape," I said. "I redesigned." He laughed, not realizing how precise that statement was. Over the following weeks, I reactivated dormant connections, old emails, quiet phone calls, documents my mother had died for, now contextualized, cross-referenced, undeniable. Marcus's foundation, it turned out, was laundering reputations as efficiently as my grandfather once laundered money. Last, the final piece was Anna. I gave her the truth one evening, gently, without accusation, about my mother, about Marcus, about the ring. She cried. She said she'd been manipulated. She said she thought she was helping protect the world from men like my father. "You married one," she whispered. "Yes," I agreed, "but not the kind you think." The night I sent everything, to journalists in Hamburg, prosecutors in Brussels, boards that prided themselves on moral clarity, I sat alone in the dark. The city breathed outside, tram cables humming faintly. At 2:08 a.m., Marcus was arrested. At 2:09 a.m., Anna texted me from a hotel on the outskirts of town. I didn't reply. Weeks later, Freiburg bloomed into spring. The Black Forest softened, trails reopening, cafes spilling into the streets. Anna filed for divorce. And Marcus made a deal. My family name surfaced in headlines I'd waited my whole life to read. People asked if it felt like justice. It felt like winter finally ending. I still wear the ring sometimes. Not for her, for myself. A reminder that love and control can look dangerously similar, and that turning off a signal doesn't mean disappearing. Somewhere, my mother's journals sit in an archive now, open to anyone willing to read them. And at night, when a car pulls into the street, I no longer flinch. The future is lighter, now that I know exactly what I've chosen to carry into it.